Here we go.
You're listening to another episode of Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. This is the place where you're entitled to Brad's opinion. And now for your host, Brad Allard.
He just feels like,
You got the groove.
what's
going
his
on.
name from Johnny Carson?
Ed McMahon.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I knew his name. I just couldn't think of it.
Well, I know, but young and like you, how do you know Ed McMahon?
Seriously?
You know, do you remember Johnny Carson?
Yeah. I'm not that young.
Oh gosh,
Sorry.
35. We'll go with that.
I'll be 50.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll be 61 in about 3 weeks.
So you're not that much older than me. I mean, let's just be
no.
real.
Well, of course, Shandy thought I was 65, and that.
Oops.
Yeah, she goes, "I'm sorry, 63? No, I'm still 60. Thank you very much, but no, I'll be
Oopsie.
61, and I'm feeling
Yeah, see,
it."
you're not that much older than me.
Ah, bless your heart. Anyway, so what's new on Harvest House? We'll find out today. And sounds like you got not just a lot going on, but a lot of need going on. And
Yes.
we'll talk about that. And that's, I guess it's great that we have that kind of facility, but it's also kind of, concerning that it's in such need as well. So, but anyway, we're going to talk about that. And it's been a little while. It's been about 5 or 6 weeks since we last talked because, the election got in the way and all that. And we didn't want to, throw a Harvest House in the middle of all that routine.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, who needs it, right? It's it's tough enough. But anyway, how you been?
Good.
Did you do much on that weekend with the honey tour and all the carnival and all that?
I didn't get to do the honey tour, but my kids, my kids and I went to the carnival, and my daughter spent a few extra days there. Yeah, it was huge success. Ran into a lot of people from outside of Burleson.
Mm-hmm.
People who used to live here, friends just enjoying Old Town, which was really fun, I think. I
Well,
think
it
that was a
was.
huge success.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for a first time doing something like that.
Well,
yep.
I have Gabrina on Monday, and she's going to be, I'm sure, hopefully recovered by then. The poor girl, I bet she and Jessica Pounds are about ready to drop dead after that.
Well, and the
All
Parks
work,
and Rec
yeah.
people and the police, man, I think every single police officer was working all weekend long
I wouldn't
because
doubt
because it was full. I mean, every cop had two. There was always twos, and then you also had to have the people who were taking care of the rest of the community. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure the officers, fire department, all of them are exhausted.
You're right. We have Jim Basham on a week from today, and she can talk about what they did with it. So, it's
Well,
gonna
I
be lots
saw a lot
fun.
of the Parks and Rec people there because Jessica Mack and all of them were helping making it happen.
Well, and it's good that we have a community that does these kind of things. I don't know if other communities have. I mean, they may have events, but I don't know about like that one. I mean, that was now poor Gabrina.
I want to know whose idea it was.
I know it is. It's Gabrina's idea.
Was it?
Oh, sure.
That was fun.
They, because the honey tour was. Well, at one point, COVID had taken it out, and they just kind of let it go. And then she gets back on there, and she revived it. And now she'll be the first.
Well,
to
I
tell
just
you
didn't know
what it
whose the carnival idea was. That was Gabrina's. I mean,
I think so.
Dang, she's like, shooting herself in the foot because now she's gonna have to keep doing it.
That's it. That was just about to say that. It's like now you set the bar that high. Well, we'll find out all the details.
Yeah,
about that.
Good.
Well, let's run through these ads so we can get to the fun stuff. Talk about Harvest House. Okay, thank you, Daniel CrossFit Burleson. Of course, we've been talking about he's sold his gym to a young woman named Alexis Curtis, and she'll be on next Tuesday. And so she'll tell us what's been changed, if anything, about and what programs they have and things of that nature. So I look forward to meeting Alexis. I haven't met her yet. But thank you. It's 317 Southwest Wilshire. You probably won't notice any difference at all, I'm betting. So that's a good thing. Also, Shandy, over to Shandy Stockstill Group. She's selling my daughter's home right now. And so right in the midst of it. And it's really, I'm getting a firsthand observation of how she works. And she's very detailed and patient. Selling the house ain't like you just show up with a check. It's a beating, isn't it?
I told my husband last time, I said, I am not moving ever again.
Oh.
We've moved too many times. And this last time I was like, yeah, I'm done.
Well, Robin and I, when we built our house back in 1991, we thought this is our first house. Turns out it's still our first house. We haven't moved. And in part is I'm too lazy to pack up all the junk, but it's still... But watching Shandy work, I mean, in the methodical way and the patient way that she does it, and there's a little glitch here, and there's a little something that comes up here, and she's like, this happens all the time.
But buying a house like you did in 91 is nothing like buying a house now. It's a lot harder.
We built our house.
I know, but it's a lot harder now to buy a house than it was even in the early 2000s.
I think so, too, because I don't remember going through all this detail.
Oh, no. It's way different since the crash.
But she'll be on late in the month, like the 27th. because I want to talk about real estate and.
I think I'm here on the
interest rates.
27th.
I'll look on my calendar. I think I
I'm
had
just
you.
letting you know.
All right. Well,
That's what you told me.
well, maybe
Just because I wanted to like have a rabbit trail, and you can. You're in the middle of doing your ads. You look, and I'll do the ads. For you.
Okay. Well, fine.
kidding.
Talk about our place. You know that joint.
Oh, we love Otto, and he's opening up Cleburne. I don't know any updates on it, but we love Otto. He's always like doing stuff for the community, and
I had you down the 29th.
the 29th.
Well, don't you look on your calendar? I could change.
don't.
Shandy will move
Let's
if I
see.
made a mistake.
Oh, I could have made a mistake too. Anyway, so our place is awesome. Go eat there. Get the Texas Scrambler. It's enough for like 5 people.
Yeah, I've had
okay,
that.
I do have me down on the 28th, but
All right.
anyway, go eat at
Anyway,
our
all right,
place. They're
yeah.
awesome. Open 6, I think, till 3 p.m. So don't go for dinner because they won't be there for you.
No, what I like about that patio is it's quieter than you might think, even if you're on the highway. And that's where I do all my BNI business and stuff like that, networking group, because he's very hospitable.
And they have really good pecan pancake or waffles.
Yeah, I've heard that too. My diabetes kind of restricts my diet a little bit, but when I want to splurge, I'll get the chicken fried steak. And
Well, just go eat there because everything is good. I've never had anything I didn't like. Go Otto. Woo.
yeah.
All right, our place. We're done.
All right. Wild Cigar and Culture. They got stuff going on throughout the summer. They drink specials on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Sometimes they have special wine deals. Sometimes they have special cigar deals.
Coffee.
Well,
They sell Java Johns there too.
Right, and they have, it's a good place to do business. They have a conference room. And I said, that'd be a good place to go have a, business meeting. And after you're done, you're right there at the bar, have a smoke, have a drink, you're good to go, Or maybe
Really nice
beforehand.
people. Really,
yeah,
really
well,
nice
I've known
people.
Chris since he was
Very
a student.
generous.
Yeah, and they're very civic oriented. Also, we have our old friend, Tiffany Nico. You should get in your magazine this week for Local Life. Today is the 1st, and she usually is right on it. So it's either today, tomorrow, or maybe Saturday if the mail is slow, but it goes to 30,000 homes. It's all over the community. I see this at Otto's place. I see it at several other places.
The thing I learned about them, okay, I'm going to put, I didn't, I mean, it, as opposed to some of the others, they go outside of just Burleson.
Well, they go to...
It's focused in Joshua and other places. So
Right.
if you're wanting to reach people outside of just Burleson, that's a great place to
It is. They
advertise.
I've been trying to get her to expand to post office boxes, but she said that'd be kind of an expense she didn't need, but because I have a P.O. box. But
Oh.
as far as it goes to parts of Crowley, parts of Joshua, even parts of Alvarado. So it's not just Burleson only. Shannon Suter says, I love the Texas Benedict
Yes.
at our place.
I agree, Shannon.
Yeah. But anyway, she's got stuff going on. She's going to have Local Heroes issue soon. And so that's a good thing to do. We did this last summer. We nominated some people for Local Heroes and had Mary Slaney on the cover. And it was a very, very fun issue to have.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
And then we have, of course, Southern Jim. Right now, Gayla's at Vegas at a jewelry convention. Does that sound like a pretty fun place to go?
Yes.
Yeah, but they're open. Robin and her 2 colleagues are right there right now.
So have they moved downstairs yet? Oh,
See,
my gosh, really?
you asked her that question if you want to get Gayla spooled up a bit because I've been talking
So you
to
didn't
her.
even have to answer me. I just saw your face and I was like, oh, poor Gail. Like, she's been trying for like a year to move.
Yes, she wanted to have moved in by Christmas, and then then by Easter, and then by Mother's Day. Actually, by Kentucky Derby Day. And
Well, maybe it'll be next Christmas, and then, she'll be like, oh, we made it by Christmas.
Well, what happens is every time that they get really close, there's some sort of delay. There's
Yeah.
a contractor issue. There's some supply. Like right now, she had to wait a week longer than she was told for her display cabinets. But it should be open in about 3 weeks, and and it's going to be nice. The interior is not going to be a whole lot different looking. It's not like a completely different look. It's still same color schemes roughly, but it's a lot larger. And you can take Mr. Woods there, and you can park him over there by the TV you can have a Dr. Pepper or a beer or whatever.
Or you can go to Wild around the corner
Or yes.
while I'm shopping.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So she's got it. She's going to have the horse race channel on. She's into that.
Nice.
Also, thank you to Old Pro Roofing, John Williams, 817-734-2756. I saw him yesterday at the BNI meeting, and they are busy. We didn't get hit that hard, but apparently a lot of places up north of us did. And they go everywhere, but they're located here in Old Town, so, homegrown business. So thank you, John, 817-734-2756.
I'm grateful for the Burleson bubble. I used to live in Alvarado off 67, which is like Tornado Alley.
Yeah.
And like, I like the bubble better than the alley.
I thought that was just a, old wives' tale kind of thing, urban legend, but no, it's true. Also, our friend Melissa Harner, Texas Farm Bureau, 682-804-0534. She sold me some insurance and saved me money. You're a customer. You've said a lot of good things about the way they handle their clients.
Yes.
And
she's not my agent, but like everybody, all the agents I've ever met are great, and I love Texas Farm Bureau.
Yes, and I think she's going to try to help my daughter through some insurance stuff as well. So there you go. And Stop Restoration, Lisa and Moore Smith. She's so funny. She was giving the presentation in our B&I meeting yesterday, and they were talking about fire damage, and she opens up with that Ohio Players song, Fire, and I'm like, oh, baby, high school days. I remember standing by the wall watching people dance,
right.
And, and I was the only one that recognized the song because there are all these people younger, and it's just funny. Song. You do too? Well, that's, yeah.
It wasn't high school days, though.
No, I know. He's probably, elementary days, dancing around the kindergarten. But it was just funny because, I was the only one to recognize the song. But they do great work. They do fire damage. They do water damage. They do this one. It sounds kind of ghoulish almost, but unattended death. I mean, you think, well, that happens a lot more often than we'd like to think. Somebody pass away and they don't notice it, and it does create a biohazard. And so, they do the whole thing, and they're really good people. I've had them on a couple of times, and Morris and Lisa are genuinely decent people. So. Anybody else? We do have something else I do want to remind you. I don't know if you had the post for it, but it's also Walk for Life on Thursday, or Saturday rather. So if you're interested in doing that and there's still room, call Megan Swearingen. See, I keep calling her Hollowell. That's her maiden name. Oh. I keep doing that. But anyway, she'll answer either one. And
if you don't want to walk, they still have a goal. Mm-hmm. So you can still give online to them. And they are an amazing organization.
Right. So. They're on quite often. And I'm just really proud of Megan because I had her as a student. And I've known her family for 30 years. And, she really turned, I didn't expect anything different, certainly. But she really turned out to be great.
Yeah.
And you like to see that. And you see that,
That's neat.
There are good endings to stories. But let's talk about Harvest House. When you came in and I just asked how it was going, you kind of went, oh, my goodness, you don't understand.
It's busy.
And, you don't have the numbers, but you don't have to have the numbers. When you're getting more and more busy, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't have the exact numbers, but last month we served almost 700 clients. So that's, family. So 700 households. Now, in the past, when I might say, hey, we had 700 households that came to Harvest House, frequently that would be over the holidays when they came and got, a holiday meal and a regular meal. This was just a one-time, you got one service. So I know in April we were up 40%. So since it's just June now, I can't tell you yet the difference from May to May. I'll have that like in a couple days, but I haven't been able to get my numbers together yet. But I bet it's definitely higher than 40%, higher than this month last year. And it's crazy with the economy. A lot of SNAP benefits and other benefits have been reduced. A lot of inflation, and just people are struggling, like with their rent and mortgage having gone up so much for many. I don't know anybody whose rent and mortgage has not gone up, from taxes, from all the things that I don't know that impact it all. Insurance rates are up because we've had so many catastrophes. So insurance goes up, your taxes go up, water goes up, electric goes up. Electricity is ridiculous right now. So you put all of those things, and then you add groceries that are so high. And I was talking to Kurt Jaeger this morning over at City Market, because we're going to be doing a thing mid-July from the 8th to the 22nd where people can go and buy a bag of groceries to help give to Harvest House families. But he's like, grocery costs are outrageous. So
well, they are.
Straight from the grocer's mouth, it's yeah. I mean, we all know that, but to actually hear the grocers, it's...
Well, I do all the grocery shopping in our house because Robin's working, and I'm, more loose ends, certainly in the summertime. And I'm shocked.
You're too young to be retired because you're only 60.
Yeah. I'm not retired.
I have to put that one out there.
I'm not retired. I still teach. But in the summertime, I don't have the classes. Yeah. But I go to the grocery store, and I'm shocked that a loaf of bread costs nearly $3, and that's if you buy the store brand. If you're not Pepperidge Farm or some fancy bread. It's like $4.50.
Or something that's not refined flour.
And it just, a can of peppers yesterday. Last time I bought, was it yesterday or the day before I was at the store? I was going to make some Mexican-related meal. I do all the cooking too. So I needed some hatch peppers. A little can of hatch peppers, like $1.80 something. Like, good God.
That used to be like 53 cents.
Right. and I guess when I go to the store, I resent the fact that I'm being told by the national media that inflation's coming down. Well, somewhere it might be, but it ain't here. And, I buy the groceries and I keep track of how much I spend every month. Every month, last day I kind of do a monthly summary where my money went. And I spent $400 more in May for groceries than I did in April.
Well, I was telling you, that's what's going to happen to me here in June because I just bought groceries. First week my kids are out of school. I literally spent my entire month's budget on groceries so they can have breakfast and lunch. And I didn't really get that much. Like, I didn't go overboard. I didn't get a bunch of crazy things. There weren't a bunch of snacks.
A bunch of filet steaks.
No. And it was just like, I mean, I bought chicken on sale for 99 cents a pound, or 98 cents a pound, which is Sam's Club in case anybody needs it.
Yeah.
But just like literally it was like, wow, this is crazy. And, there's a lot of people who are working and they might be making $18, $19, $20 an hour. But like when you look, so like we're really seeing a lot of families who are working. We're really seeing that middle class families who don't qualify for SNAP. They don't qualify for any of the government benefits. And that's who we're really seeing right now. The biggest thing, even outside of food, which food is our first, somebody comes in and they need help and we're like, the first thing we want to do is help you with food because that can help offset your grocery bill. The other thing, the clothing store, the resale shop's doing great. And what we do is just a reminder, we still give our clients free clothes. So you may go shop. But when you shop there, those dollars go back to help ensure we have food in our pantry and we stay open and all that stuff. But the financial assistance, wow. Like the family struggling with medical issues and, what do you do? I mean, you have a medical issue, your husband has a medical issue, you're about to get evicted. We're talking about things like cancer and things, I know there's multiple clients I could say right now that have stage 3, stage 4 cancer that are still working because they have to in order to try to stay in their homes.
Yeah,
and
good heavens.
And we had 2 clients. I don't think this is breaking any things, but one was hit by a street racer and the other by a drunk driver. You're out of work and you don't qualify for benefits. You're getting maybe short-term disability, which is like 30-40% of your income. People are struggling and there's so many scenarios and they're real life scenarios. And, some people make their way through their savings before, and then they come to us. They're like, hey, a lot of people struggling and most of them are working. Right. I'm not saying they all are. If they're not, a lot of them are these folks a lot of them been injured outside of their own cause. They haven't done anything to cause it.
I was just thinking about that the other day too, because, yesterday they passed that bill in the House and they're going to up the work requirements for SNAP and all that other business. And I was kind of mixed emotions about that because a lot of people, like you're talking about, are working already and they need food assistance. And that's really kind of unfortunate in our country that working class people have to have financial assistance just to survive. You'd like to think if they're working, they're able to be self-sufficient, but it seems to be harder and harder to do.
It is. And you really have to have if you want to have children, you have to make a lot of money. You really, in my opinion, my personal opinion, I'm not anything. You have to make over $100,000 to both of you work. Otherwise, one person has to stay home and take care of the kids. And then people are like, well, why aren't you working? Well, because we can't afford it. But should you not be able to have kids because it's hard? I mean, it's just that whole like...
No, I'm sure you're familiar with that physician's clinic over off of Haslett. Is it Haslett?
No.
That's not the name of the street. I can't remember. It's the old Baptist church parking lot. It used to
Haskell.
be Haskell. That's it. Hazlitt's a city.
CPCN.
Yeah, it's a Christian Physicians, and I have a couple of friends in my Sunday school class that volunteer with them, and they are swamped, and they're all the same people, not the same, the same people, same type of people, working people.
Well, but they don't serve people that have Medicaid or any kind of government assistance.
No.
So it's those who are uninsured. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
They're workers at retail stores or some of the big box stuff or something like that, and they come in and they could double that place right now and still be full.
Yep.
They have, unfortunately, a waiting list, and I've been wanting to get on the show, and my friend says, "Look, we'd like to come on, but we don't have the time."
Can you go live over there?
Well, yeah.
Well, you don't really want to do that for HIPAA, but
But I was there when they opened, and I did a little film clip with the young lady that runs the place. But I've thought about doing that. But then again, like you mentioned, some people may not care to have a camera in there to be seen taking this kind of charity.
Yeah,
and that's what it's still men my age. It's hard to convince us to take charity.
Absolutely.
And so that's. But I'm concerned about where our country is going in this, because you should be able to support yourself if you work a full-time job.
But, even people making $18, $19 an hour and up, it's hard. Like I said, it's with the way that, like this year, my insurance, I had a shortage in my escrow last month or last year. And then, which I didn't know about it. Somehow I missed that. That's what happens when you don't get mail.
Yeah, right.
When it's all anyway, so that went up. Our insurance went up. Electricity is up. Water's about the same. But you just look at all those things, plus food's up. And, we're a 2-person working family. And, I just paid $400 in groceries. That's my monthly budget. What are you going to cut? And it's like, it's just challenging. We're going to make it. It's, but not everybody has the support systems around them. And, there's other crises and other things going on. And, if you don't have, like, say you rent, maybe you can cover your rent, but you can't cover your electric and your water. You can lose your home. You can get evicted for not having water and electricity. You can lose your children. This is going to be an extreme case. So I'm not trying to, I'm just showing the bigger picture. Like, those are requirements to keep your home if you're renting. You have to do these things, and you can't, it's not safe anyway. And we just need to be there for our community. I guess that's my bottom line. I put our donation link, I gave it to Taylor to put on there. In mid-July, we're going to be having the food thing at City Market. We haven't come up with the name yet, but it'll be there. It's like for 2 weeks where you can donate like $20 and fill a bag, and that'll come to Harvest House. And we're, asking for people to do food drives. Right now, even we are able to get food at a discounted rate. So if we do have people donate online just for food, we're able to help stretch those dollars a little bit more frequently. And we just know that God and this community are going to keep our pantry full, but all the pantries around are seeing significant numbers. You were talking about Crowley House of Hope. They served, I think, over 800 last month also. They were a little bit higher than us, but really close to about the same. Promises is serving 50% more. I just talked to Debbie Beeman yesterday.
She'll be on the show on the 12th.
Yeah, I don't know their monthly numbers, but I know she said it was like 40 to 50% more.
Right.
We're all feeling it. And that's with all of us here. Part of that, too, is a lot of the mobile pantries aren't happening this year for some other, reasons, stuff. I haven't really looked into it, but there's some different charges that Ternary Food Bank's having, but they have their own challenges as a large food bank organization. We're all having supply chain issues, and we're all having that. So I just tell people,
there it is on the screen.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you can designate whether you want to go to food or if you wanted to go to financial assistance or just for anything. You can do, like, say you want to do $120 over the next year. You can do $10 a month. And
specifically for food?
Yep, you can designate it.
Because most people I know, I don't want to brag, but I do a monthly donation.
Yeah.
It just kind of here. I trust you to do with the money, but so you
And
can
we
do
need
it.
that too.
Yeah.
I mean, we need people because that helps keep
Yeah.
our lights on and stuff. So if it's
Right.
designated, it has to just go to that. If it's just general, that'll help pay for the electric bill and make sure we have staff and things like that. The resale shop does significantly help us. So when you shop there, those dollars go back into our programs and ensure that we have money to do all those things, because our Harvest House budget comes out of that, you know. So we have a budget specifically on our item outside of any grants or anything that we might have. So, you know, we really, we need help too. And I tell people frequently, like, I want you to support Harvest House, okay? But find the pantry in your neighborhood. If you don't live in this area, who's in your neighborhood, find that one and support them, because it's not just us. So, like, if let's say you live in Crowley, you know, you're not going to hurt my feelings if you help Crowley House of Hope.
Right.
You know, I want you to help Harvest House too, but like by helping them, you're also helping us. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And we need to make sure everybody has what they need. You know, if there's a church that wants to help with, you know, benevolence, and, you know, reach out to us, reach out to Harvest House. We'd love to partner with you. We also have our because, you know, we got schools out. So now we're thinking about back to school. And that's another thing, you know, people are already stressing school supplies. Oh my gosh, you know, how are you going to, if you can't pay for food, how are you going to pay for school supplies come August and July? So we're already kicking off our school supply drive. So if somebody's
when will that start? I mean, that Little Red Schoolhouse. Mid-July. Okay.
Yeah, it's usually mid-July, and then we distribute before school starts. So we want to make sure that everybody, and we're going back to school. Last year we did some different things, but we're doing school supplies and backpacks again this year.
Now that summer's here, a lot of young kids who get their lunch and breakfast from school don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know if BSD has that program.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But
Taylor
I wasn't
Elementary,
sure.
and I think it's Norwood
Probably
are the two schools that.
That makes sense geographically. I mean, both
you have to
ends
be
of town, right?
You have to be. It's in-person eating. If you go to 211, you can look there. Also, BISD has it on their website.
Right.
But 211 will tell you other resources as well. The United Way of Johnson County has been. They keep skipping us, but sharing like places where people can get food, like Crowley House Hope, Harvest House, and other places. Like if you're in Cleburne or just in this general area, they do have House of Hope on there, even though that is Crowley and that's Tarrant County, but they still have it listed. There are food resources out there. There's enough out there that nobody should be going hungry. And if we help our neighbors, like if we're helping all of those pantries be strong, we're all going to be strong together. Because here's the deal: this is a community and a nationwide crisis that we are facing. You know, more and more people are homeless. You know, we're seeing that coming in through our doors. You know, people living in their cars. You know, I don't know how I got on this, but I follow Johnson County, and I get the news blurbs, like what the police did that day or that night or whatever. And the amount of like domestic violence and violence is like up so much.
Yes.
And it's like, you know, you look at, if you know Maslow's hierarchy of needs, okay?
Well, they taught us that over and over again at school, yes.
Let's go back for those of you who don't know that. The basic needs are food, shelter, clothing, water, that sort of thing. You know, if you don't have that, you can't do anything else. You know, you can't have emotional and other kinds of security until you have those food things. So like, I can't teach you to work on your budget until you know where your next meal is coming from. You know, you have a place to sleep. Okay. And in the mental health crisis that we are in across the nation, because it just is, we have to make sure people have their basic needs. So I can't give you the statistics on this because they don't really exist. I can show you that child abuse or domestic violence is up. I cannot show you necessarily why, but I can tell you.
I did. I used to do that in my classes in economics, saying it's statistically proven that the higher the unemployment rate, the higher the domestic violence.
Exactly.
No, I mean, and we would do studies showing the causal effect of unemployment and other economic factors lead directly to divorce, abuse, drug addiction, what have been now called deaths of despair, which is like
suicide and stuff like that.
Well, not just immediate suicide, but long-term suicide.
Right.
You know how you treat your body and that kind of thing. But, but I'm just saying that. No, we used to do that in class, so there definitely is.
There is, and so like if you really want to help impact, and I'm not trying to get political on this because
Go ahead.
I'm not. No, I really don't, because I don't think it's a political thing.
Right.
The whole, all the shootings and stuff were happening. This goes back to what I just said. If you don't have your basic needs, and that somebody who loves you, food, all of those things, we're going to have chaos. And you look at all the unrest and all the things, and you look at the, just like you just said, the causes. As our economy has gotten worse, as the pandemic, all the fear, all the everything, those things have gotten worse. And I truly believe if we start taking care of each other and letting people know that they are loved, they have a safe place to be, they have safe place to people to be around, that we will see those things go down. But it's a bigger picture. It's not like I can't fix that, you can't fix this. We all have to be a part of the solution.
Right.
And I know that's much bigger, but like helping your local food pantry legitimately helps those things.
Well, and there's no question, though, that the mark of a community is how well they take care of the least of us, so to speak.
Yep.
And the thing about it is, sometimes I feel like I'm like one step away of being among the least of us.
Absolutely.
We're all like one crisis away.
Sure.
If I need, a car breaks down, I could fix it. But if we have a disaster or a health issue or some other kind of a crisis like that, I'm not very far from the street myself. And
I don't think any of us are. And they
Yeah.
show that most Americans don't have, like we used to, and then we had an emergency, and we've never really rebuilt our savings back up to where it was. We used to have a decent savings. I have one, but it's not going to last me that long. Not like it was before my.
Yeah, right. My dad would tell me you need like 6 months worth of mortgage payments saved up and all this. Yeah, and I think
It's true. I agree with you.
Oh, sure, Dad, it'd be great. But it's not quite that easy. But as far as when you had kids, my wife and I were talking about this just the other day. In fact, I said, when we were younger, we seemed to be able to do more than we do now. Go to places, go to restaurants or go on vacations, whatever. Now we look at it, it's like, holy cow, It really.
Well, you go to Taco. So I went to Taco Bell yesterday. I'm sorry, I'm one of those that likes Taco Bell.
I do too.
$11.92. I'm like,
Right.
I didn't really order more than a couple of things here.
Yeah, I know.
It's like,
Well, and you go to other fast food joints, and it's like $24 for a pair of you, and see. And I'm not really being critical of Chick-fil-A or Wendy's or whoever you want to talk about, because it's not like, they're having the same issues we are, higher costs and everything. And, and difficulties maintaining employees and whatever else. But I really am concerned about the where we're heading as a community, not so much Burleson, but as a country.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what I mean by community. I'm not really.
I understand what you mean.
Yeah. But
I agree.
As far as Burleson's concerned, I'm glad we have you and Promises and Next Step and on and on and on. And we have individuals that are very generous and churches that are stepping up. Not every community has that.
No.
And but as a nation, I am concerned that we're getting into a situation where it's almost going to be impossible just to make ends meet without either substantial government help or just a complete breakdown.
Well, it's not like our government can afford it, but we're not going to go there.
Yeah, I know.
But it's true, and it's really.
But it's the pressures on the local governments, not the national government. They just spend money like they got it, and
right, like we have it.
Yeah, right. Right, exactly. But we're talking about, like, you talk to people on the city council, you talk to the school boards, you talk to the county, and their budgets are constrained. And to be honest, our friends in Austin aren't making this easier for us.
Right.
I have Victoria on in a couple of weeks. And we're going to talk about that issue. And the state of Texas is making it harder and harder on local entities to maintain. And I don't understand that concept at all. But we'll talk about that with Victoria in a couple of weeks.
I have to listen to that because I don't really follow politics. So I don't really know what's going on. I really don't, because I've got so many things right in front of me. But
you're probably a happier person for it.
Yeah.
That kind of brings up a separate deal, kind of about you personally. How do you not take this home with you?
You do take it home with you.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
I don't know how you don't,
Right.
And it's hard, and especially when you see, when you feel the weight of the responsibility of what needs to happen. I don't think there's anybody, especially in leadership at Harvest House, have an amazing leadership team, but we don't take it lightly. We know that the work we do changes lives. I mean, we know that decisions we make, you have a house, you don't have a house. I mean, if we are unable to make your financial payment because with our financial assistance for whatever reason, even if you really don't qualify, like, we don't take that lightly. If we have to say no to you for one reason or another, like,
it really stays with you, right?
well, I mean, there are times when we lose sleep over it because sometimes we want to help them, we don't have the assistance, or sometimes we're just like, on paper, or they didn't bring those documents, because I mean, we have grants, so we have certain documents that we have to have, and sometimes people don't bring those in, and that's really, it does weigh on you. And then sometimes you say no to people and you lose sleep and think, man, I should have said yes to that person, or it's hard to make a decision, and it's a committee. We have an independent committee that does that. So if somebody's out, sometimes I sit on that, but I'm not the one that interviews them and stuff. And it's very hard. It's very, very hard. But, we are doing our best. One of the things we're really looking for, and the best way that people can help us, is if they become monthly donors, whether it's $10, whether it's $500, whether it's $1,000 a month. It really makes a difference in what we're doing. And even if it's not designated towards food or financial assistance, if we have those funds and we're able to help somebody, then we're able to help somebody. So.
Well, here's as a teacher, it didn't happen all the time, very often. It really wasn't that often, but there were some days I couldn't leave school behind when I got home. Something had happened.
Yep.
So, I don't know, you can fill in the blank, but it's just something that happened that really affected me emotionally. And it's tough just to leave it behind as you get in the car and drive home.
Yep.
And I just wonder how y'all do that, because I know you see story after story, hardship after hardship. You got to be something that counterbalances that, or else.
I think the successes.
Okay, good.
I mean, honestly, the successes of knowing that we were able to serve just about 700 people last month. I mean, or that we were able to help 8 of the 14 applications we got. I mean, we still were able to make a huge difference in the lives of many, and we have a chance to help more tomorrow. And I just think we know we're strengthening our community to the best of our ability. I'm not God, so I'm not, and we try to tell people we're not here to fix it, we're here to help. And I think I couldn't do this job in some other communities.
Right.
I really believe that. I think Burleson, Johnson County, even South Tarrant, because we're partnering a lot more with Everman ISD. I'm super excited about that. Nothing's decided, but we're working on how do we help them, because that is those are our neighbors, and we do a lot with Everman, and just trying to see how we help that community. Because one of the things I learned about that community, and I hope nobody minds me sharing, and I didn't realize this, because I'm like, they have all this industry.
Right.
All that industry is in Fort Worth.
Right.
They, a long time ago, way before anything was an issue, Fort Worth bought all of that. So all of that industry that you would be typically helping their community's economic development, they're not getting of those tax dollars.
Right.
It goes to Fort Worth.
It's a lot of people back in the day, so to speak, who didn't know Burleson city limits that well, thought when we got Chili's and on the border and all that other stuff going on and all that development, hey, it's really going to help. Well, we didn't get a dime of that. And the school district did, but as far as the city, they got nothing. And so it's, the Burleson city limits are oddly drawn anyway.
Yes, they are.
It looks like a Rorschach test, but it's, but it's strange. Oh, I'm in Burleson
Looks like
now.
a thyroid to me.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not in Burleson now. Oh, yes, I am. Okay, whatever.
In and out.
Yeah, that's kind of like what it is. But as far as the people you serve, I mean, you serve anybody that comes through the door, but it is primarily focused for this area, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So let's say you had somebody who's driving from, Kansas and going south, just going through, and they had nothing. You're not going to say, well, geez.
We'll give them food.
Yeah, sure. You're not going to say,
That's the only thing they would qualify for was food. They would never qualify for financial assistance. So, we have clients who just receive food. And then we have clients who who have come in, shown us their that they qualify with financially or whatever, that they live in our service area, that would get store vouchers and potentially eligible for client assist or financial assistance. Our service area, back to school, Christmas, some of that stuff, they have to be clients, meaning receiving services and stuff from us. And so there's some different categories, but if somebody walks in our door, they're not going to walk away without food, because usually you're not coming if you need it. Now, like we have homeless that come once a week just because they can't hold on to too much. A lot of those people live in their cars, live on somebody's couch, different things like that, or just very low income. Some people live in cars in people's driveways. It's just, it's a crazy, crazy, crazy thing because it's kind of illegal to be homeless.
Right. And I see,
It's so weird.
But the last couple of years, I've seen more people walking the streets.
Yeah.
I mean, when I pulled up here in the studio here in Crowley, I saw a homeless man.
Yeah.
And, 15 years ago, 5 years ago, you wouldn't have seen that. Now you see it. There's almost every major corner in this area has somebody with a cup, and a sign. And, there's all these debates whether you should help them or not, and is it really going to the right cause, or are you being scammed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's not really what we're talking about here. But we're talking about that sometimes we look at our own community and we don't think that happens here. And it seems like every time we talk, and I talk to Debbie or I talk to, even Megan will talk about it from Next Step. They got people in this situation. Or Crazy 8. I'll have them on about 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
It's just like, it just keeps expanding. And
they're getting kicked out of Fort Worth and Dallas. And they're coming here, and we don't really have the resources because we haven't needed to. I mean, Burleson, I'm not saying we don't need them. It's hard because nobody wants them in their backyard, and then you have this whole thing, and it's hard. It's not an easy discussion. What's the best way to help? Why are people homeless? I am not an expert in homelessness.
No, I'm not either.
By any means, so I'm not going to even pretend. Some people are homeless by choice. A lot of people are not. And I don't give money out, but if somebody has a sign that says I'm hungry and I got some food, if it's my lunch, they might get it. And I try to carry around brochures, especially if I'm in like the Burleson area, so I can say, "Hey, come here," so we can get in their lives and figure out what kind of help do you want? Do you want help? What do we need to do? Because there are a lot of people who need assistance, medical assistance, like physical medical assistance, mental health assistance. We're partnering with. I've been a part of a faith community initiative for the last 2 years with Texas Health Hughley Hospital, along with like Reach Council, Pathway, and a number of others. And so we're going to be starting a pilot program on. It's a mental health, just evaluation tool. But then there's going to be places we can send people for further assistance if they need it. But a lot of times people just need somebody to talk to. I mean, like they don't need necessarily even a counselor. They need somebody who cares that they are struggling with something. And, that's what I was saying before, the whole Maslow's thing. A lot of it is just knowing that there is somebody in this world that cares enough to listen to that you're valuable, whatever that is. Because there's so many people who don't, and especially since COVID, I've heard stories and statistics because people are still terrified to get out because the fear they went through with being told you're going to die if you go outside. I mean, a lot of seniors, older people, I know people, and they're not old, that are still, they don't really get out like they used to because they're,
But I know a
afraid
few
of it.
people like that they're afraid of, catching COVID or something like that. But also the studies have been over and over again about how emotionally and psychologically damaging COVID was.
Oh, yes.
And educationally, it's been a disaster. I mean, we're still suffering from the fallout from that. You talk about, the kids are behind in their learning curves, and they're behind in math and reading skills, and on and on.
And their
on.
social skills.
And all.
I think that's why they're struggling with their academics, because their social skills are so
Well, my teacher
up.
friends say that,
especially for the kids who are like early elementary.
Well, yeah, but my teacher friends will tell me since COVID was over and it resumed, it's still the discipline issues are much higher, and some of them are serious, like fights and such, and but most of their discipline issues are like you said, like a social skills, like a respect for authority, like a concern about their academics.
That's my son. Like, and I'll say this. I mean, he's so smart, but he's like, why didn't you learn this? Why do I care? And I'm
Yeah.
like, how do I, and this is a kid,
How old is he?
12.
Okay.
And he does not, he's a super smart student, but how do you motivate? And I don't know what caused this. I mean, where did this change?
Well,
And
there's a lot of reasons, and COVID may be one of them, but it also, boys in particular get attitude about academics. When I was back in high school, not always, certainly, but I would say if you took 50 of my best students, I bet 35 of them would be girls.
right.
All right. And not just
At that age.
At that age. It's 16 through 17 and 18. We'd the majority be girls because they're more willing to do the work, to pay attention better. They still giggle and they try to get on their phone or pass notes back in the olden days. But guys, they're having your son's attitude sometimes. That and you try teaching history, and they're like, "Oh, who cares?" I don't care about what Abe Lincoln did, whatever. And then when I run across them when they're 35, and they're like, "Oh, I saw this great show on History Channel last night. Where was this 20 years ago?"
But I also think like, I lost what I was going to say. Sorry.
That's all right.
No. So in one of his classes, he had 5 different teachers in 2 months.
Right.
And which is a whole different thing. And that's not the school district's fault. And it's not even necessarily the teacher's fault. I don't know why some of them left. I don't know the stories, but he had 5 because then they had an interim while they got the new one. Then the new one came and she lasted like 2 weeks. And then there was another interim. And then there was, finally the teacher, and he really liked her, but that impacts all of his classes.
Right.
Because you've got that at this age in 6th grade, that instability for 2 months. I mean, that much change. I mean, and with everything else in the world, the COVID, and they just they lose a trust in the school. Why does it matter? I mean, these teachers don't stay, so why should I care? Why can't I leave like they leave? That's the kind of stuff he says, and it's like, wow, I don't know how to say.
Well, and then kind of get back to what you do at Harvest House, I'm sure with the instability of homelessness and food insecurity, and then now go to school and learn some algebra, boy, that's a hard hill to climb, if they don't, like you say, have the basic necessities. They don't know where they're going to be going that night, where they're going to wake up in the morning.
Yep.
And then they may not be properly, proper hygiene,
But you look at even, we're talking about this mental health stuff. A lot of these kids' parents are struggling, I mean, from all of the stuff. So that comes home, even if they're amazing parents, it just impacts all these things. There's just so many forces.
I want to switch gears, and we're getting close on time. But have you
I don't know how we got on that.
I know, but it's fine. It's good. That's why we have these conversations.
Right.
What about that freezer unit that you were raising money for? Is that still on the schedule?
It is ordered.
Oh, right.
It's a refrigerator.
All right. Okay.
We have the freezer, so the refrigerator's been ordered. We actually were able to purchase the rest of it with our American Rescue Plan grant.
Thank you, Joe.
Yes. And thank you to Johnson County Commissioners Court. That was like seriously amazing. So with the money that we got from this, we had a grant from HMS Host. So if you're ever at the airport and there's like the HMS Foundation at like the different restaurants, put a quarter in there because they really do help support organizations. Like that's where it came from, is that foundation.
So when is this going to be installed and operational?
Soon.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's like 4 weeks. We ordered it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's going to take a while.
I still have to get some electrical updated and stuff, but by the end of July, for sure.
Well, that's going to be great because we've talked about this before about the dignity of shopping, and now they're going to have even more dignity, I hope, I suppose, or more opportunity.
Hopefully more opportunity because that'll be more fresh foods because we'll be able to take more fresh foods, and I think a lot of stuff right now that goes to salvage because like it won't last over the weekend. If we can put it in the refrigerator, it'll be fine over the weekend.
What about, do you have to abide by any kind of nutritional restraints or requirements or whatever else? I mean,
no.
I know you're not giving them a box of Snickers all the time, but I mean, does the government for its money say you got to give them an X amount?
I don't have any government money.
Or the American Rescue Plan is the money?
That's just for the building.
Okay, I get
That
you.
doesn't direct our food.
Okay, I got you.
But no, we aren't under anything but by our own goals. Our
Right.
own goals are to provide more nutritious food, even like the foods that I did send Taylor. I don't know if he saw the flyer on our summer food flyer, because we do have, there it is. So we tried to pick healthier options.
Right.
I know ramen isn't, but let's just say we all grew up on ramen and we're still okay. Pasta, mac and cheese. I mean, but we're trying to do healthier items so that people, kids can eat. And I mean,
Mac and cheese is always on the
I mean,
list.
come on. Let's just say I grew up on ramen. And, you can make ramen really healthy. You put some of that canned chicken in there. You get some fresh veggies or even canned veggies. You put it in there and you got like something nummy.
Anybody that lived in a college dorm is familiar with ramen.
Yes.
You'd have put it in hot water in the sink or something
You know
like
what my
that.
son does?
What's that?
My 12-year-old? His ramen, he doesn't use their packet. He just puts curry powder, spicy curry powder.
There you
I'm
go.
telling you, it is so good. So if you like Indian food, put some Indian food spices on your ramen. It's amazing.
Well, I know that by your own, not just your own choice, but by almost your mission is you want them to eat better than what they probably are eating just because of what they can afford. I look at...
And this is better than fast food.
Oh, yes. I like fast food, but I haven't had it in so long, partly because of the health, partly because of diabetes. But I sure miss bean burritos. I tell you what.
You can't eat bean burritos?
It makes my numbers jump.
Really?
Yeah, and I could, dope up for it, I guess, with some insulin. But
Yeah, that's
I don't,
not smart.
You don't want to do that all the time. Our friend Charity says, thank you for what y'all do. She's a nice
you.
lady.
Hey, shout out to my neighbor.
Yeah, and
Hi, neighbor.
her youngest son just graduated, and she's very
that's cool.
proud of that. Yes. But as far as the health, I kind of guessed. I wondered if like the county or the federal government or the state or some other entity said no, you have to have certain calorie or nutritional requirements or whatever.
No, it's just we really try to put out healthier options. I mean, we get all kinds of junk food, chips, and all that stuff. That's great. But when we ask for donations, we really try to have healthier options that we're asking for. I know meat's getting low right now. Protein, eggs are always welcome. Milk is always welcome. I mean, those are things that once we get our walk-in refrigerator, is going to be amazing because we'll be able to...
What kind of meat do you talk about in particular?
Chicken, ground beef, ground anything. Ground beef is usually most popular. We don't generally ask for pork because there are a lot of people in this area that don't eat pork, whether they're Seventh-day Adventists or some other.
I don't care for pork either, except for sausage and bacon, but I don't care for pork chops.
But so that's not not something. I mean, we'll take them,
Yeah.
but that's not most popular. Chicken, beef, things like that. We do have some people who had professionally processed venison that they're able to source where it came from,
Right.
And we're able to take that. It's kind of particular, like you can't do it yourself, and we have to have the source of where it came from and stuff like that, just for health things. We have people who have gardens. We can take garden vegetables and things like that. Also, again, we need the source of where it is. So like Pathway Community Garden, they just
Right.
put a thing on it that says where it came from on there. It just has their address. So like it should something, because there are different salmonella, different things like that. If it happens, we can at least know where the source was.
I wish we had a bigger community garden. I've talked about that with Victoria before because she's really into parks and that and public spaces and things like that. And I'll be bringing it up again. But it'd be nice if we had like...
I think First United Methodist Church also has one.
Does it? Over on McAllister?
Yep.
Okay, well...
Well, they did. I used to live over there, and it wasn't a huge one, but they had...
My church is landlocked, so I don't know if we can do it. I'd like to, but...
But I think even still, so many people have backyard gardens. Even like when my tomatoes come in, I'm probably going to have to donate some because my tomatoes are doing so well this year. Best ever in my whole life. Like, I'm so excited. But I'm going to have more than I
How
can
do you
eat.
keep the critters off of it? Because I've grown tomatoes, and I think, I'll leave this on for a couple more days, and then I come back and big old hole's been pecked in it or something. Do you have coverage?
No, I don't.
Maybe you just have...
Okay, so believe it or not, I have my bird feeders right next to it. And so my mom had these things, and they look like birds, but they have rocks. And so when the birds try to come and get it, it's my understanding they peck at it and they don't get anything. So it teaches them to fly away. I've heard like with your strawberries, put painted rocks before they bloom. So when they come to try to eat it, they get nothing, and then they leave it alone when you...
And Charity concurs that it's a great idea. And I am going to bring it up because these are the kind of things we need to do as a community, and that'd be great.
Absolutely.
Greenhouses. We could do that, and I like to see that go on more. But it's going. It takes financing. So guys, this summertime is going to be a lot extra need because, like we said, the kids are out of school and they're going to be out of pocket, and so it's.
But, if you do have a garden in your backyard, I mean, put it in a plastic bag, get a label where it's from, when it was picked, bring it over to Harvest House. I mean, because that's the kind of stuff that we give away and it goes really well. And we just need to know where it came from.
Okay.
It's real easy. So, yeah, it's good. There's ways that don't really have to cost you a lot of money that you can give. And we also need volunteers.
Yeah.
And, your donations when you go to clean out your house and stuff like that. Just don't forget that we are open 9 to 7 every Monday through Saturday, except Wednesday. We close at 4, and we're not open on Sundays.
Well, see, I was going to let you have the last word, but you just did. So
donations,
yeah.
even
Right.
if we're closed on Saturday, most food donations, they can get to the pantry.
But you don't
especially
like it when they dump stuff out by the retail store.
Please do not leave anything unattended ever anywhere.
Right,
You
get
can
big old
get
signs.
Well, we actually redid. We had the expense of redoing all of our signs because it became such a problem. And honestly, it's so much better.
Okay.
But we had to it cost us more money than it should have because we had to redo them all. But we couldn't get people to stop leaving stuff. And
I saw that about 2 weeks ago. I was across the street. Y'all were closed. And I saw somebody just dropping stuff. I said, "Can't you read?" But whatever.
Well, but now if we can get their license plate, we have clear signs the police can go talk to them. And they will.
Okay. Well, you want to finish this off? Tell us everything. And you already told us about hours and such, but, summarize what you really need us to do for y'all this summer.
Honestly, right now, what we really need are people to, go online and to donate. Whether you're $10 a month, $5 a month, it all makes a huge difference. We are going to have our Builders Brunch, which is going to replace our Harvest Feast. It's going to be November 3rd, but we're looking for sponsors for that. It's going to be very similar to our gala. It's just going to be a brunch instead of a Saturday night dinner. Much of the same activity, but it's kind of going to be a annual review of what we've done, how your support has helped us. So we're looking for sponsors for that. Our brochure is almost finished. And, but honestly, like so many others, we need finances to help keep us going forward because we can do things cheaper, tax-free, more than others can. So whether you want to help back to school, our daily operations, or our food pantry, or if you don't have money, bring stuff to the resale store because that also helps us. Even items we can't use. Furniture is fantastic. People love to buy furniture there. So that's what we got. It's yourharvesthouse.org. Come by, ask for a tour of our new office space. We just finished that project. We had our open house a few weeks ago. It's beautiful. We will have another one here coming up soon just for people to come by, see what we do. But if you've ever been there before, you got to come back. It's amazing. And it's just beautiful and so different. And then we've got education spaces. So if you've got things you want to share, and just reach out to us. We have a conference space, education space now. And, for whether you want to teach people to crochet or, it doesn't have to be all about, we need to make you better. Like what's beneficial and community building, let's have a crochet group at Harvest House on Tuesday afternoons.
Crochet, yeah, I guess. I mean, it makes sense. Crochet.
Whatever guys like to do. I don't know what they like to do, but...
complain about women and the weather, and the government.
Well, I can make you a cup of coffee, and you can sit there and complain about women and the government. We've got a space for you to sit. And I'm not kidding. We have a space that we really want people to feel like they can be at.
I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We're going to settle on a date right here on the air, so I'll have evidence.
It is the 29th. It is the 29th. You were right. You were right. I was wrong.
All right.
We changed our dates so many times. I got confused.
Well, you had a conflict last Tuesday, right?
Yep.
And then of course we postponed the election because the election.
You postponed the election?
I wish I had, but no, because I'm not looking forward to the next ones. it was anyway. It's going to be election
kidding.
season, but
Yeah.
that's another rant for another time. I
Yes,
appreciate what y'all do. Y'all make this community a better community, and we thank you very
you.
much for it.
Appreciate it. Appreciate your time.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me.
And we'll talk to Gabrina on Monday and see what she's got going on.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.